know. Here it's preparing. So Kelly, you're going to lead. Here we go.
Okay, so I think we're live.
Woo!
Hey, how are you guys?
Hi, everybody.
It is a good Friday. I'm so happy that it's Friday. The week is flying by. But we want to welcome you today to the Fit Chicks segment that we are hosting every other Friday. If you haven't caught these episodes, make sure you backtrack and find them under Kate McKay's page. And we're just here to bring you some inspiration and empowerment, show you through example of things we've done that don't work in the past, things that work for us now, maybe some lessons we've learned along the way on how we keep our health at the forefront and our mindsets healthy. So it's not just physical a lot of times, it's mostly mental, right? And we're just very excited to be here today. So welcome, you guys. And my name is Kelly Tyan. This is Linda Mitchell. And we are with Kate McKay. So today we're going to, I hear.
This is Linda Mitchell. And we are with Kate McKay.
Something's echoing in the back, but we'll just continue. Well, today, that happens sometimes. I love the topic that we want to talk to you guys about because I'm finishing up one of my an 8-week program. This is week 8. And every week we dove into, in the training part of it, a topic. And Kate came to the Fit Chicks segment with a specific topic. That was my topic we just did a training on. It was amazing. And really what it comes down to is the power of your yes. Meaning saying yes to yourself. That means putting boundaries up and saying no to other things that don't necessarily serve you, especially if you're trying to lose weight or get healthier or really in any area of your life. So we're going to jump into, why don't you take it away, Kate, because you wanted to speak about it. And I'm so excited to chime in because saying yes to yourself can change so much for your life. And it's crazy how it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like a lot of it is just as a high performance coach, where people are most log jammed is having a perception of who they want to be and having people around them who don't see them in that same light. Like we all know that there's a yearning inside of us that we're called for something. And to really stand in that, in an environment that wants you to stay the same is very difficult, right? How many people can relate to that? I know I can.
100%.
100%. So I would love if we could dig into some strategies. And I think primarily we need to know from an intrinsic, internal place. Again, I'm going to that vertical relationship. For me, it's a spiritual center that I'm here. I'm called to do something. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily about the relationships that I'm in. It's about, I've been called here by God to serve and help people heal and to help them embrace their highest and best self intrinsically. Yeah. So my external relationships don't take me off too much. But let me tell you, it was a journey to get here. So I think the number one thing that I'd like to say is that we and you and all of us need to embrace that we're here for a unique calling. And sometimes if people are saying, hey, you used to be this way, or now you only want to eat like that, or now you're not going to be talking about other people in the same way. It makes people feel weird. And we just have to be like, no, listen, I love you and I'm called here to do something different. And I'm totally chill. You be you. I'm not judging you. I just know I'm called to do higher things. And man, it's an interesting situation. And I'm not saying it's easy because it's not. It's difficult, but stay in your light, stay in your truth, stay in the reason why you're here. Not easy, but we're here. We see you, and we're here to support you in any way we can.
Yeah,
100%. I think when you realize when somebody, maybe you are changing for the better, you're being the best version of yourself, and you gave yourself permission to do that. And maybe somebody comes against you with a negative comment or something that is designed to pull you down because they're not feeling comfortable with you rising up. They're just not comfortable. You have to look at what is the bigger picture if you look at what is the bigger picture, my purpose and what I'm here to do and the people I'm here to help and inspire, that really makes it feel different. Because sometimes when somebody says something negative or they're not supportive, not encouraging, or your best cheerleader, let's say, it might make you feel like, oh, I'm shining too bright. I should dim my light to make them feel more comfortable. No, dial it up 6 more notches. Turn it brighter. Do not dim down your light. It doesn't serve anybody.
So
Agree.
true. And,
It
and
is.
we're speaking from experience. Kelly, what's been your experience with that? I'm curious about that. Like, what has been your experience with having to feel like you had to dim your light? Maybe in the fact that, like, all right, I'm just going to call you out. You have a rocking marriage. All right. I'm going to call you out. So oftentimes people are like, oh my gosh, she's so perfect. And her husband, and they love each other. Right. And even that, you feel like you have to dim your light. Isn't that weird? Right?
It is. You're so right. And you just called me out, Kate. But no, it's true, because
It is.
sometimes I do have an amazing marriage. And let me just tell you, it wasn't always amazing. I mean, we've been together over 20 years, and the D word has come up a couple times in the beginning stages of our marriage, and people don't see that. They see what we have now, but it took a lot of work and a lot of saying no to things that we knew weren't helping us reach our marriage goals and bringing us closer together. And you have to do that sometimes, because, you have to do that sometimes, or else you're letting other people's thoughts and what they're saying you should be doing or not doing you're giving your power away.
So what was it for you though? So why do you think that you couldn't talk about the fact that you feel so deeply grateful for the marriage that you worked hard for, that you're living through? Why do you
a lot
think
of people aren't living great marriages, maybe.
You're right.
Is that true?
I think that's why, at times when I would dim my light, it would be, I don't want to make others feel bad, when really I should be professing my love in my great marriage, because I put the work in. It's like anything else. I would feel that people would be like, well, I don't look down on me, or I would feel that I didn't want to make them, I guess just make other people feel bad. But I guess on the other hand, I want to encourage people that you can have it too if you put the work in. And that's really what it comes down to. So instead of dimming my own light, Kate's making me talk about this stuff. And really, it matters, because maybe somebody will say, well, she had it rough in the beginning and she is so happy now, she works for it.
Yes. So this is such a good point, because it's not just about like fitness. And this is something like, listen, us as coaches, we're here to inspire others, but we need people to call us out too and hold us to the high watch.
Right.
And I just admire the hell out of you, Kelly, because you do have a wonderful marriage. And it was like, you almost were timid about it. And I was like, wait a minute, does anyone know that you have this amazing marriage? And so I just want to honor you for putting in the work in intimacy. It takes courage to dig into that space. So I completely honor you. And I know, Linda, you too. You guys I'm the single one. You two both have had long-term marriages. And so I say, high five to you both.
Okay, high five.
High five.
You have to work at it. You have to work with anything. You have to, if you want to have, the perfect body, you have to work on your body. If you want the perfect marriage, you have to work on your relationship. Is it always perfect? No. And that's the thing you have to realize, is your marriage is your marriage, your body is your body. And the work that you put in is up to you. And at the end of the day, you have the results usually for the work that you put in.
So what is the resistance, Linda? Like, what would you say? What is the fear for most people?
When it comes to what? Which part are you talking?
So when you think about it in anything, like you want something, you have a yearning.
Putting yourself, okay, this is where I was getting ready to go.
Give me
putting yourself out there. Putting yourself out there. Like, you know, when you decide to reach for a goal, you're saying, I am that person to do that, you know? Or like when you say your marriage is great, so you want to make sure it's rock solid, because you're like, oh my God, it was great yesterday, but now it's falling apart. People are probably like, yeah, that's a great marriage, all right. You know, it's like when you have financial success and you become a millionaire, you're like, oh gosh, I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to tell everybody. Also, you
So
don't
wait a
want
minute, you
people
speaking from
hating.
experience, Linda?
Could be. You don't want people hating on you, and
Right.
you don't want to brag. That's not your goal. That's not what you're about. But you also don't want to put a target on your back. And so it's all these things. But I say go for it all the way. Shine the light.
Yes.
Inspire people. Let them see that they can do it too. They can have the great marriage. They can have financial success. They can be happy with their physique and their health. There's a roadmap to all of these things. And well, WORK would be at the top of the list, I say, but also maybe setting the goal and taking the action steps to get there, and then get over the fear, climb across the bridge of fear, and realize that what's on the other side is better. It's better. It's going to be what you wanted. You just have to get through that fear of people, you know, of that, what people think and what they're going to say, and feeling like, oh my gosh, now that I'm doing this thing and reaching for this, it's like I got a target on my back.
But I think also what Kate said, if you're shining your light, shine it like brighter, because you're going to attract the light. And the ones that weren't supposed to be there anyways are going to fade. And
well, that's true too. You're going to repel and you're going to attract.
And I think realizing what you have is so special. Or if you hit a goal in your fitness, like Kate just did a show, she's shining that light. She's posting she's proud of the work she put in. And instead, you know, because I remember when I was competing, there were moments where I'm like, oh, I don't really want anyone to know I won 4 shows. Like it was getting, and everyone's like, no, this is a big deal. But you almost feel like you don't want to be intimidating to other people.
Right, because you think it's not relatable.
Right.
But
there's a couple, that's really good.
Yeah.
There's a couple things I want to just mention. Humility is something that we need to earn. We don't come into the world like, I'm just humble and we're stumbling along. It's like humility comes when you've achieved something. And you could be like, man, I gave it to God, or I've done it for a higher purpose. Humility is something we need to earn. You guys hear that? It's not something like, I'm just going to be humble as I stumble my way through to success. Humility is a high honor. It's not just something that comes. And I just want to touch one thing about this whole idea of courage and vulnerability. Courage is at being authentic. Are you speaking your truth? Right? Are you putting
you're being dishonest if you're not.
Right. And that's courage. And there are 3 things that gets in the way of that. And I want to talk about this real briefly. 3 places of pain or fear. And I probably have mentioned this before. One of them is fear of outcome. I'm going to put all this work in and it's not going to be worth it. Second one is fear of process. Like, I don't want to do that diet. That's too much work. The last one I think is really most significant, oftentimes the emotional entanglement, which is if I do this, if I go all in courageously showing my light, I'm going to lose someone or something.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
And on the other side of that is fear of judgment, right? How many people can relate? Right? It's just, it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah. So I would love it if anyone who's listening, what applies to you? What's in the way of you living it? And once you name it, you're gonna be able to come up with a strategy to get through. I promise.
It's like breaking
the fear.
Yeah, and you can break free from that fear. Once you name it, it's almost like freedom can be found on that other side of the fear.
Goosebumps.
Yeah, totally. Me too. Because I've been there. I know.
You guys are giving me the goosebumps.
No, it's so true, Kate. Those 3 points you just made are huge. I wrote them down because I remember like fear of the outcome. I mean, I'm going to go back to competing again. And I was like, oh, what am I doing? Like, I'm going to make a fool of myself. Like, why am I even signing up for something? And then I overcame that fear, did the work, got on stage, felt so good in my body. It was a blessing in the process, the fear of the process too. You're afraid. And oh my gosh, Kate,
Hard.
that is so the
And
fear of judgment.
so it's like the fear of people's judgment, like what you said, is
Yes.
you're worried about the court of public opinion, what they think about you. And then you're worried about, can I do this? Am I going to fail? And you have all of these fears, but a lot of times we're waiting for permission too.
Oh,
We're
right.
waiting for other people's permission, and we're waiting for our own permission. And I was just reading Radical Confidence, which is a new book out. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but Lisa Bilyeu.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
She wrote this book and I am loving it. And what she said, which makes perfect sense, is your life is just that, your life.
Mm.
And so don't let anybody live it for you with their opinions and what they got to say. What do you have to say?
Mhm. It goes back to what we said in the beginning when I was doing the intro. It's saying yes to yourself. And that might mean saying no to a lot of other things that you're fearful of saying no. Like, oh, I don't want to say no to them because, well, they asked me to go out, but I don't want to drink another night in a row or whatever. Say yes to you by staying in. Like, that's going to serve you better. So in the end, it really comes down to a decision that we all get to make at the end of the day on living our best life. And how does that look for us? You know, what does that look like for us individually? If I want to be the best version of myself, if I want to live my healthiest and happiest life, what is the work I need to do to get there by the end of the day? What can I do today to make, to create this life that I want to live or be a light for someone else? So it comes down to decision making always, right?
And also, I think you really need to, go ahead, Linda.
Also, I think when we do get some, when haters come out of the woodwork, when you are achieving these things, I think many times people get stuck in this competitiveness where they don't want someone to be better. They're looking at whether you're better than me or they're comparing themselves. And I would just say to get out of that trap of where we either envy or we're jealous or we compare, if you're always trying to just achieve your best self, because that's really all you can ever do. I can't be her best self and I can't be your best self. I can only be my best self. And so when you are living in your truth, like Kate said, and trying to be your best self, then that stuff falls away. And then you could cheer for people. Then you could collaborate and get over that whole yuckiness of being in comparison and being competitive with other people.
And that's a big deal for you, Linda, because you in the Strength Finder, you had competition, right? Because I know we've played together. So it's finding the community in competition, right? This doesn't have to be me against them. This is us building a powerful community of people who are here to be change agents. That's the most important piece. And just to drop a little bomb, we hear all the time about assertive vulnerability. We hear a lot about vulnerability. And again, there's such a thing as assertive vulnerability. And that's just not like I'm a wet rag. I'm going to do what everyone says. And I'm just going to be a bleeding heart and telling you everything that who I am. It's about asserting and claiming your truth. So your vulnerability is, I'm going to tell you that I'm here. I'm called to serve people at a higher level. I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to open my heart that I've been through challenges, that I've had major tragedy, and I'm still going to show up. And whether you approve of me or not, I'm all right. So I'm asserting myself by saying no, but I'm also asserting my truth. And then you almost become Teflon, because it becomes your personal mission. When I compete on stage, I'm not even in me. I'm picturing every single person in the audience, every woman in the audience that's ever been abused, beaten, is full of self-hatred. I'm saying I'm standing up here to represent your courage. your courage, your strength, your beauty. That's it. I'm just a vessel. And I think when you own that, changes everything.
That's huge. That's huge.
Mhm.
Right? It is.
So
Right on.
good.
So
Yeah,
let's
so-
share like what we have going on, and thank you for all of you for joining us. We sure do appreciate your time, and always we're coming up with topics last minute. We'd be open to address anything that's in your heart that you would like us to talk about on this little Fitness Chicks every other Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern for us to play with you. So what you got going on, Kelly?
So I'm relaunching starting Monday my Lean in 30 Summer Shred program, 4-week program. It's all weight training, workouts, videos that you can do at home or in the gym, all fitness levels. You can go hardcore or you can be a beginner. So we're launching that. That's out right now. If you need the link, let me know. I'd love to have you. We're meeting once a week with me on Zoom for your accountability training. I'm excited.
That's
And of
awesome.
course, one more thing I want to share. Because I have a book out, it's called Addicted to the Climb. And I just did a book signing today at a senior center.
Oh,
It was like crying because, they're
Oh,
in assisted living. It was just such a beautiful experience sharing my book with them and hearing
that's
what you
amazing.
said, Kate, their stories. So they felt comfortable to share their stories of fear and all the other things that are in my book. So my book is also on Amazon. So I wanted to share that with you all too.
thank
Love
you.
that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Linda. What you got?
I lost over 30 pounds. I'm not sure where I'm at yet because at the end I don't weigh. I just keep going with what I've been doing, but I'll let you guys know soon where I am. Weight is not really the issue, but just moving forward and back to myself, the pre-injury self. I'm going to do a cover
Congratulations.
shoot, and they're going to thanks, and they're going to do a big story just kind of about my community, the Sisterhood of Sweat, and the girls in my community, and that's going to be really cool. I'm very excited. It's going to be in Miami Beach next week. And then I think I'm going to compete at the end of the month.
Right on. I knew that was coming. Woo! So
Oh
excited. I
my
think it really
gosh,
popped up.
that's awesome.
That's it.
Same.
Right on, girl. Right on. Talk about standing up with assertive vulnerability, letting
Oof.
yourself be seen. And we're not 20 people. So we're not 20. And the fact that we can still play and be courageous enough to lean out. I just wanted to say, brava, Linda. Brava.
Thanks. I just
Amazing,
realized
Linda.
that getting up and setting these incremental goals helps you stay up. And so I got back up from all these injuries, and now I'm like, oh, that setting that goal really helped me drive forward. I think I'm going to do another and another and another.
So good. Like it's like what Les Brown says. He goes, when life is going to knock you down, just make sure when life knocks you down, you fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. Always looking for the light. So awesome.
I love that. I love that.
So good.
I love that.
Yeah,
You got bounce back power.
Yeah, absolute. Sometimes you got to crawl. Sometimes it isn't pretty.
I started out not pretty.
There are people to help you. That's what I want you all to know. Hear this, please. You are not alone. No matter what you're going through, there is someone that has gone through what you're going through. You are not alone, no matter what. It's the most important thing.
Love that.
For you all to know. Yeah. And so I'm just a quick update for what's going on with me. Released my new book, Claim Your Inner Warrior, especially for men and the women who love them. I'm thrilled about this book. And the cover is my son, William, who passed away in 2017. So thank you so much for your support. Men need support. We as women need men to be warriors and to claim their inner best self. It's so incredibly important, especially during this time. I'm also launching a group coaching program, so stay tuned for that. I'm very excited about that. And if you're interested in learning more about high performance, that that whole directive on courage was directly from an entire module on courage. So if you want to play with me on a strategy call and build some clarity to move into more productive and meaningful life, I'm free. So thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Yes. Thank you. That was a fabulous
Thanks,
Friday.
everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right. Take good
Bye,
care.
everybody.
Bye-bye.